As I was rendering this video, people found another seemingly illegal, potentially, piece of content that SSSniperWolf has on her channel. In this video, she's talking to strangers on Omegle, and then she meets this girl who says that she's 16, and then agrees to show each other their boobs. So the question then became, what is YouTube going to do about it? Because not only is this not allowed legally, it's not allowed on YouTube's terms, period. And historically, YouTube has been cutthroat with this kind of thing. They do not take doxing lightly. So it's been about a week, and YouTube has finally broken their silence on what they plan to do. And man, what a fucking stinker. Boy howdy, it would be less smelly in a porta potty. Take a peek at their tweet here. Today they spat this drivel out, confirming SSniperWolf has received a temporary monetization suspension per creator responsibility policies. Off-platform actions that put others' personal safety at risk harm our community, and the behavior on both sides isn't what we want on YouTube. Hoping everyone helps move this convo to a better place.
SSSniperWolf getting dragged by Moist Critical, aka Charlie, will probably be remembered as one of the ugliest YouTube controversies in history. What began as basic criticism did not stay basic for long. It turned into a full series of takedown videos, with Charlie uploading more than 5 separate breakdowns where he picked apart her behavior from nearly every angle possible. And not in a casual commentary, I'm gonna put my 2 cents in kind of way either. But if you dodge this news like a deadbeat father who went out for milk, here's what happened. So, Charlie accused SSSniperWolf, whose real name is Aaliyah, of stealing content for years, putting minimal effort into her reaction videos, and building a 30 million subscriber empire by leaning heavily on other people's work. In his view, the formula was simple: find viral clips, react with as little effort as possible, and keep the machine moving. But that was only the start. The conversation moved into much heavier territory when older clips began resurfacing. A lot of viewers described some of that material as deeply disturbing, especially in moments where minors seemed to be involved. At that point, this was no longer just a debate about lazy content. The tone of the whole controversy had changed, and once that shift happened, the entire story became much harder to ignore. One of the biggest moments in the whole scandal came when SSSniperWolf doxed fellow YouTuber Jacksfilms during an online argument. Instead of keeping the conflict on the internet, where it started, she drove to his house and posted footage outside his home. This girl literally pulled up to Jacksfilms' house, took videos of the man's private property, and exposed him online. That move instantly pushed the situation into a completely different category. For a lot of people watching, this was the point where the drama stopped being an internet mess and started looking genuinely dangerous. Charlie reacted almost immediately. In his video about the incident, he called her actions malicious, reckless, and way over the line. He argued that showing up at someone's home because of online criticism is not normal behavior under any circumstance. To him, it was more than petty, it was threatening. It crossed the line that never should have been crossed. He made the point that online criticism does not give anyone an excuse to show up in real life. Not ever. The risk, the message it sends, the fear it could cause, all of it mattered. He basically saw it as a huge abuse of power, and a lot of viewers agreed. That video blew up fast. It pulled in more than 9 million views in a short amount of time, and the reaction from the audience was almost shockingly one-sided. The comment section was packed with people condemning SSSniperWolf. A lot of viewers said the same thing. Some noted that if the roles had been reversed and Jacksfilms had shown up outside her house, YouTube probably would have stepped in right away and dropped the hammer instantly. Others brought up her long history of past controversies and accused the platform of going easy on her because she was too valuable, too advertiser-friendly, and too big to touch. At that point, the public mood was already rough for her, but somehow things still managed to get worse, thanks to the detectives and sleuths of good old internet. Because 5 days later, On October 20, 2023, Charlie uploaded another video with a title along the lines of "The SSSniperWolf situation just got worse." And honestly, that title was not exaggerating much. In that follow-up, he pulled up older clips and examples that made even more people uncomfortable. Some of the footage involved comments and interactions that viewers felt were completely inappropriate, especially because minors appeared to be part of the situation. Charlie's approach was pretty direct. He did not do the whole dramatic YouTuber courtroom routine or the open-mouthed shocked faces that most YouTubers put in their thumbnails. He mostly let the screenshots and the comments speak for themselves, and then gave his reaction. That choice made the whole thing hit even harder. Instead of trying to force the audience into one conclusion, he laid out the material and let people watch it with their own eyes. And once viewers saw it, many of them were furious. The comment section filled up with people asking the same question over and over. Why in the hell had YouTube still not taken stronger action? A lot of viewers felt like the platform was picking money over accountability. The logic was easy to follow. If a creator brings in huge numbers, then maybe the rules suddenly become softer? That was the feeling many people had, and it only grew stronger as more clips and examples kept coming out. Then Charlie brought up even more examples that he believed were worse than what had already been discussed. That pushed the backlash even further. Viewers began making timelines, collecting old controversies, and listing everything from past legal issues to charity-related accusations to, as I said before, SSSniperWolf actively trying to expose herself to a minor. A minor, ladies and gentlemen. If it was a man, boom, jail time. Well, unless you're someone in power, like, say, a president. Anyway, it became one of those internet moments where everybody starts bringing receipts, screenshots, clips, and long threads out of nowhere, like they're claiming Christmas stamps for their Starbucks gift cards. The pile kept getting bigger, and by now, the story was actively spiraling. The next day, Charlie uploaded yet another video, this time focused on SSSniperWolf's apology and YouTube's official response. People had been waiting to see what the platform would do. A lot of them expected a strong statement, maybe even a serious punishment. Instead, YouTube gave her a slap on the wrist, tucked her in at night, and kissed her on the forehead. Rather than clearly condemning the doxing, YouTube framed the whole mess more like a conflict between two creators where both sides had behaved badly. Naturally, that did not go over well, especially with Charlie, who pushed back on that hard. His argument was simple. Really, criticizing somebody online is not the same as physically showing up outside their home. Those are not equal actions. They are not even in the same universe. One is internet commentary, the other is real-world intimidation. To him, YouTube's response flattened the whole situation like a flavorless pancake. He also made the point that Jacksfilms had not actually done anything that deserved being treated like a shared problem. In Charlie's view, the attempt to frame both creators as part of the issue made it sound like YouTube wanted the easiest PR answer instead of the most honest one. And to make things look even more suspicious, the timing of SSSniperWolf's apology seemed suspiciously convenient. Charlie noted that her apology appeared almost right after YouTube made its statement, which made him wonder if there had been some kind of quiet agreement behind the scenes. Basically, the vibe he got was, hey, SSSniperWolf, here's what you do. 1. Post an apology. 2. Take a light punishment. 3. Wait for everybody to move on. 4. Profit? But whether that was true or not, a lot of viewers thought the timing looked weird too. Charlie ended that breakdown by making one thing crystal clear. In his eyes, there was no good excuse for doxing someone over online drama, and the audience backed him up. Many viewers called the apology fake and empty. Some noticed that she misspelled Jacksfilms' username multiple times, which people saw as careless at best and disrespectful at worst. Others argued that she was not sorry at all because she felt bad. She was sorry because the backlash had started affecting her image and her money. A lot of people compared YouTube's response to a school principal punishing both the bully and the victim just to make the hallway quiet again. And honestly, where's the lie? By this point, trust in the platform had taken a real hit. Around the same period, Charlie briefly shifted away from the SSSniperWolf drama to talk about something that felt different on the surface but still connected in spirit: fake YouTube gurus. But wait, why are we talking about this? Well, Charlie said that a couple of his viewers had reached out to him after getting burned by those people, the so-called experts showing off sketchy-looking awards, flexing suspicious play buttons, and trying to sell expensive courses that promised some secret cheat code for YouTube success. Bro's point was pretty straightforward. There is no magic formula. There is no secret map hidden in a Discord server for $9.99. And anyone claiming they have the one true blueprint is probably trying to sell people a dream. Now, even though this part was not directly about SSSniperWolf, it still fit the bigger theme of creators using image, authority, and audience trust in questionable ways. And again, it was a short detour, but the main story was far from over, because after a brief downtime, we're back with SSSniperWolf controversy, baby! For a few weeks, it looked like the whole thing might start cooling off. SSSniperWolf went back to posting content. The internet found newer things to argue about. The outrage started fading a little. Then, on November 12, 2023, Charlie pulled the story back into the spotlight with another video, this time centered on plagiarism allegations. 2 days earlier, Nerd City had released a long expose with a title similar to SSSniperWolf Stole Her Life. The claim was not just that SSSniperWolf copied a few ideas here and there. The video argued that she had copied major parts of fellow creators AzzyLand's style, including video concepts, presentation, personality cues, and even parts of the way she sounded. That is the kind of accusation that makes people go, Charlie went through the claims and mostly leaned in AzzyLand's favor. He found it suspicious that SSSniperWolf seemed way more ready to jump into action when she was accused of copying content than when she was called out for doxing Jacksfilms. In other words, an accusation about content got a faster response than an incident involving someone's real home address. That seemed kinda sus. Yeah, anyway. SSSniperWolf denied the copying claims and argued that AzzyLand had edited thumbnails after the fact to make things look worse than they were. But even after looking at both sides, Charlie came away thinking that the similarities were too obvious to ignore. His overall point was not that reaction content itself is some deeply unique art form. It was more that if somebody keeps lining up with another creator's style in too many ways, people are going to notice. Once enough examples pile up, it starts looking less like coincidence and more like imitation. By now, the situation had become a giant stack of separate controversies all feeding into each other. And still, the internet was not done. On November 15, another creator stepped into the drama. The internet anarchist uploaded a video titled "The SSSniperWolf Situation Gets Worse." And that video did not just cover the plagiarism debate. It also dug into her past legal issues, including older arrests tied to armed robbery and disorderly conduct. At that stage, it felt like every possible angle had been opened: past behavior, recent behavior, platform protection, copying accusations, doxing, apology drama. Everything was being talked about all at once. The internet had pretty much gone full Benoit Blanc. Multiple creators had made videos, millions of viewers had already formed strong opinions. The story had been broken down, rebroken down, clipped, reposted, stitched together, and argued over from every side. It really felt like the controversy had reached its final boss form.
But wait! There's more! Hang on to your seat, baby! Cause this one's a screamer!
Because months later, a new twist showed up, and suddenly the whole thing started moving again. Fast forward to June 29, 2024, YouTuber One Giant Onion uploaded a video titled "My YouTube Channel Might Get Banned" that's been since taken down. In that video, he revealed that he had received a strike after posting a 3-hour reaction video centered on SSSniperWolf's content. Bro had tried to watch her content without laughing, and according to him, he never laughed once. That was it. That was the gimmick. But then he logged into his account and saw the strike. At first, dude was confused. He didn't think he had done anything wrong. He even thought maybe one of his older videos had triggered the problem. But after checking more closely, he believed the copyright strike had come from SSSniperWolf. And just like that, the old controversy came roaring back. What made the whole thing look especially ridiculous was the irony. SSSniperWolf's own brand was built on reaction content. So if she was now striking someone else for reacting to her, a lot of people saw that as god-tier levels of hypocrisy. Onion argued that his video was commentary based. He said he added reactions, context, and his own framing, which in his mind made it fair use. He was not just dumping her content onto the platform raw with no changes. He believed the video transformed the material enough to be protected. At the end of the video, he asked bigger creators to shine a light on the issue. That turned out to be a smart move, because Internet Jesus noticed. On July 8, 2024, Charlie uploaded a video about the strike. In that video, he blasted the idea that SSSniperWolf would file a copyright claim against the commentary creator. He pointed out how absurd it looked for someone known for reaction content to suddenly act like reaction content against her was unacceptable. Bro was locked in. He basically argued that her own content often added so little to the original clips that trying to act like she had some strong copyright high ground felt ridiculous. In his eyes, the whole thing looked like another example of a large creator using YouTube's weak copyright system to pressure a smaller channel. That reading spread fast. A lot of viewers immediately accepted the story because, to them, it fit her history. They had already seen the doxing controversy, the copying accusations, the platform favoritism claims, and all the rest. So when this new claim showed up, it felt believable right away. The reaction online was intense. Comment sections filled up with people trashing SSSniperWolf and saying this was exactly the kind of move they expected from her. For a while, the narrative seemed settled. A powerful creator had abused copyright to go after someone smaller. Case closed. Except, it was not. Soon after, SSSniperWolf posted on Twitter and said she did not file the strike. She claimed she had no pending takedown notices and suggested that someone else must have taken action without her approval. Because of her reputation, a lot of people did not buy it. Her name already carried so much baggage that many viewers assumed she was lying before even looking deeper. Charlie responded by saying that if she really had nothing to do with it, she should contact YouTube, find out who filed the strike, and take legal action. He also stressed that false DMCA claims are serious and that the abuse of the system should not be brushed aside. Still, not everybody was comfortable with how fast the blame had landed on her. Nicholas DeOrio was one of the creators who pushed back. His point was not that SSSniperWolf had a clean record, it was that bad record does not replace proof. He argued that people should not assume guilt just because they already dislike someone. That ended up being important, because once more details came out, the story started looking a lot messier than people first thought. SSSniperWolf shared a screenshot of her DMCA history. They showed past copyright actions connected to her, but none clearly matched the strike that had hit one giant onion. More importantly, the contact email connected to the strike did not seem tied to her official business or management. That was a huge red flag. Now the whole thing no longer looked like a simple creator versus creator story. On July 9, 2024, Charlie uploaded another video, and this one took a different direction. The title made it clear that SSSniperWolf was not the person who struck the channel. After going over the documents and talking with both sides, Charlie said the evidence no longer supported the original accusation. He admitted that he had jumped to a conclusion too quickly based on incomplete information. That is not something creators always do publicly, especially when a story is already spreading. But honestly, Good on Charlie for correcting himself. He also explained that he personally contacted SSSniperWolf, who told him she was not linked to the email account behind the strike. According to her, her own channel had dealt with impersonators before as well. Charlie also noted that the person filing the takedown appeared to claim they represented an agency connected to her, but the use of a random personal Gmail address made the whole thing look extremely sketchy. That detail changed everything. Instead of SSSniperWolf abusing copyright, the evidence now pointed more towards someone pretending to be connected to her and using that fake connection to issue the strike. Yes, definitely an insane sentence to hear, but that seemed to be where the facts are pointing. Then Charlie did something that caught a lot of people off guard. He apologized to SSSniperWolf publicly. He made it clear that he still had major criticism of her for other reasons, but in this specific case, he had gotten it wrong. He said sorry for the stress and the extra mess that the false accusation may have caused. That apology did not magically erase her previous controversies. It did not rewrite the doxing incident. It did not cancel out the plagiarism debate. But it did show that in this one situation, Charlie was willing to update his stance once the evidence changed. And honestly, on the internet, that already puts him ahead of a lot of people. Once that correction landed, the focus shifted. The story was no longer mainly about whether SSSniperWolf had abused copyright. It became about how weak and broken YouTube's copyright system appeared to be. If somebody could impersonate a major creator, use a random Gmail address, and still get a strike through the system, that is a planet-sized problem. That means the platform's protections are weak enough for hackers and posers to cause serious damage just by pretending to be connected to someone important. Nicholas DiOrio later pointed out that One Giant Onion eventually shared a screenshot showing Wolf Collab Company as the claimant name, but the contact email still appeared to trace back to that unrelated Gmail account. That only added more confusion and made people question whether the strike had ever been properly verified at all. At that point, viewers started asking new questions. Why did the story move so fast before all the details were checked? How easy is it for someone to weaponize YouTube's system using fake identities? Those questions mattered because they reached beyond one creator feud. This was now about the platform itself. The whole controversy also showed how quickly online narratives can lock into place. Once people dislike a creator enough, accusations can spread almost instantly. The need for proof gets lower. The emotional logic becomes, well, that sounds like something they would do, so it's probably true. And once that mindset takes over, the story moves at warp speed. That's basically what happened here. SSSniperWolf already had a reputation that made people ready to believe the worst. Because of that, the strike accusation stuck fast. It spread through YouTube, Twitter, and Reddit before the full facts were nailed down. And as usual, the correction never traveled quite as far as the original claim. That, my friends, is how internet stories often work. The first version gets all the attention. The fixed version shows up later when half the crowd has already logged off. At the same time, it's still important not to confuse that correction with total innocence in every other area. 1. The earlier controversies did not disappear. 2. The Jacksfilms doxing incident still mattered. 3. The plagiarism accusations still existed. The broader criticism of her content and behavior did not vanish just because she was not behind this specific strike, because two or more things can be true at once. A creator can have a messy history and people can still falsely blame them for something they did not do. In the end, this part of the SSSniperWolf saga stopped being a simple story about one creator striking another. It turned into a case study in how broken YouTube's copyright system might be, how easy it is for bad information to spread, and how quickly people can run with a story when it matches the reputation someone already has. If strikes really can be sent under the name of every major creator without proper verification, every channel, and I mean every channel on the platform has a reason to worry. It also showed online commentary spaces can reward speed more than accuracy. The faster story usually wins first. The more careful story tends to arrive later, when the crowd has already picked a side and posted their memes. Not gonna lie though, that is kind of the most internet thing ever. So where does that leave everything? Charlie's coverage helped keep public attention on SSSniperWolf's biggest controversies, especially the doxing of Jacksfilms and the plagiarism accusation tied to AzzyLand. Those parts of the story remain the most damaging and most remembered. But when it came to the copyright strike against One Giant Onion, the evidence eventually showed that the original accusation did not hold up. Charlie corrected himself, apologized, and the conversation shifted toward impersonation and YouTube's weak enforcement systems. That means the final takeaway is not as simple as she did it or she did nothing wrong. Instead, what we should remember is that people on the internet tend to move too fast, assume too much, and have to walk some of it back later. But what do you think? Did SSSniperWolf really get off that easy with doxing Jacksfilms? And is YouTube really that unsafe for creators nowadays? Comment down below and subscribe or I'll take photos of your house tonight.